A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritvika Gupta. Tonight the spotlight is on Renaya, the sister company of Vedanta Limited. Now Renaya was started to bring new technology and sustainable solutions to India's manufacturing industry. It was founded by brothers Ananya Agarwal and Navedya Agarwal, and the company aims to be a leading partner to the resources industry. Tonight I'll be chatting with the MD and co-founder Navedya Agarwal about the company's vision and how they aim to make manufacturing more sustainable. And in the second segment I'll be chatting with Jamal Maclay, CEO Maclay Financial, on the current financial landscape for MSMEs in India. Navedya, welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow. Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Thank you, Ritika. My pleasure.
So, Navedya, I want to start off by asking you an overview of India's manufacturing sector. What are the biggest opportunities do you see in this space, and what was the market gap, that you identified that led you to form Renaya?
So, I think, as India transitions now from a 3.5 trillion economy to a $7 trillion economy by 2030, there are a couple of shifts that we identified that would lead this transition.
Okay.
And we're a true believer as a company that this transition will come as a result of manufacturing, and manufacturing playing an increasingly critical role in our GDP growth. And within manufacturing, I think the current government, with the Atmanirbhar Bharat and Swachh Bharat, are very, very clear on the priorities. And the government is also knows that this transition will primarily come as a result of shift away from commodity manufacturing to technology driven manufacturing, and backward integrating as far down the value chain as we can, and not becoming an assembly capital of the world where a majority of the input components are imported and only assembled in India. I think it's very clear that backward integration is going to happen down to the smallest component, so that all of the value of a particular product or end use is actually generated in the country. And the other shift that's driven part by companies becoming more sustainable and also from government regulations, we feel that sustainability will play a large role in this shift as companies develop more ESG forward practices, shift a larger part of their energy usage to renewables, and as EVs also start playing a larger role. So these are the two big themes that we see playing out over the next decade.
Okay.
And what we did once we identified at Renaya that these were the two themes that we wanted to play in, we then went about it fairly differently to identify the specific gaps that we wanted to address. We went with these two themes and we appointed consulting firms. So we spoke to the likes of Accenture, KPMG, PwC, etc. And we started with a long list of about 2,000 opportunities within these themes.
Okay.
And then used a lot of filters to really figure out exactly how we wanted to play in this field, in this space, based on what we saw was our right to win.
Right. All right. Speaking of sustainable manufacturing, while there has been some progress in the manufacturing industry, but I think we still have a long way to go. What would you say are the 3 or 4 key considerations or factors that businesses in this industry need to keep in mind to embark on this journey?
So I think a lot of the shift initially is policy driven and investor driven. If you see, all of the large banks, lot of the large private equity funds, global pool of capital that are coming into India are insisting on a sustainability agenda as a requirement for their investment. So I think a lot of that push is coming from access to capital.
Okay.
people are being almost forced to make that change, without which they won't get access to that capital they need to grow. That being said, you're seeing so many young entrepreneurs in India today, focusing on battery recycling, e-waste recycling, plastic recycling, focusing a lot on post-consumer waste. But the big gap, that we continue to see in the market is the focus on industrial waste. So if you look at, the post-consumer waste that is generated annually, municipal waste, water, plastic, etc., is expected to be in the range of about 3 to 4 million tons, whereas industrial waste is 100 million tons.
Wow.
Right, but there is not enough focus on that. So I think companies need to start focusing on the ESG agenda. And to do this, I think one, of course, is the push towards renewable sources of energy. And the other one is that digital and technology will play a huge role in this, to actually allow processes to become more efficient, plants to deliver higher output with lower input material, reduction of scrap, etc. All will help in improving output as well as increasing sustainable performance.
Now I have read that Rinaya aims to achieve a revenue of 1200 crore rupees by FY25 and 2000 crores by FY26. How do you plan to do that?
So our growth plan for this year is already being delivered. So if you look at our Q1 results, we're already on track to deliver the 1200 crore run rate. This is one, of course, it's on capex that's already been spent and will be coming online in the next month or so.
Yeah.
And if you look at our different businesses, they are all growing organically for the next year. The big growth is coming from our, we've just brought online a facility to manufacture, to recover metal from zinc mining, smelting waste. So in the zinc value chain, smelting waste contains, of course, zinc, lead, silver, which are the primary metals produced by a zinc supplier, but it also contains, cadmium, cobalt, lithium, nickel, etc. And our eventual goal is to recover about 25 to 27 minor metals within this complex. So that's the growth, for this year. And if you look at next year, all of our businesses have, capex requirement. We will be more than doubling our production of FRP rods to target the global telecom industry, as we see that, data centers and AI, becomes more and more prevalent. The use of fiber optic cables is only going to grow exponentially.
Tell me, Aditya, how has the legacy of belonging to a renowned business family, shaped your entrepreneurial perspective? Have you received any advice from your father or your uncle, perhaps?
No, of course, right. So when when I first came back to India after my MBA, I had the option of joining Vedanta.
Yeah.
But at that time, took a call that I was very inspired by my dad and my uncle and what they had built. And some of the early stories about how their first 6 or 7 businesses actually failed before they got their first cable plant up and running, which was successful. So I thought, why not throw my hat in the ring and see if we can start and try and create something of our own.
Nice, fantastic. So, our show Leaders of Tomorrow, it also caters to a lot of MSMEs, smaller businesses as well. A lot of young entrepreneurs watch our show. India has this vision, to become Viksit Bharat, and I want to understand from you, I think, how can MSMEs in the manufacturing sector play a role, in to become future ready, in the manufacturing industry?
So I think startups are a key for innovation, right? Because a lot of times larger companies find it difficult to innovate and move away from a proven business model. So a lot of the growth is going to come from MSMEs, and I think the way that they will contribute is by tackling some of the larger problems around sustainability, around backward integration, would all come from SMEs. And what we're also finding is that global companies want to enter India. They're looking for the right partners to leverage, the India story. They understand that they can't come alone. So a lot of time MSMEs are the best partners for these global firms to come in and, make their India footprint.
Right, and just picking up from what you said, the theme for our show this season happens to be powering entrepreneurs for the global stage. And I understand Renaya has a lot of global partnerships and associations as well, Taha Holdings and many more. So my next question and final question to you is in two parts. One is how you're planning to leverage these associations, and secondly, why are global collaborations very crucial today, for entrepreneurial growth?
So I'll take your second question first, if that's okay. We are a firm believer, and this is a very contrarian approach to how a lot of entrepreneurs think. We truly believe that you need to be rich before you earn the right to innovate. There's no point in innovating and trying to create something new when you don't have the cash flows.
Yeah.
So we actually believe in benchmarking with global companies, getting the best technology out there, and then working to improve those technologies is a far more sustainable path to growth and profitability. So I'll give you an example, a collaboration with Taha that you mentioned. So Taha had the global benchmark practice for recovering green aluminium from aluminium dross. And when we got our first machine from Taha, it had the processing capacity of 150 tons of dross per machine per month. We now operate those same machines at 450 tons per machine per month. Right, so our innovation center came in, really improved the technology there, and from here I'll lead into the second question, that now that we have the IP on that 450 tons per machine per month, our technology partner has come to us saying that why don't we partner together to tackle some of the global smelters. Right. So I think global technology is the key. It allows you to learn from the best in the world and take advantage of the India cost base, India manufacturing capability, Indian regulations. And once you set up a base in India, it really gives you the right to then export from there all over the world.
Well, fantastic. It was lovely chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.